I'll be your platinum, I'll be your silver, I'll be your gold, as long as you love me, as long as you love me, love me.
Hello everyone, welcome back. Today is chapter 11 of managing project management, managing project team. So where are we now? We are at the 11th step of the project management course. So first, high performance team. Tom Peters, a management consultant, had written, the differences in productivity between an average team and a turned-on, high-performing team is not 10%, 20%, even 100%, 200%, and even 500%. So the magic and power of teams is captured in the term synergy. Synergy is derived from the Greek word synergos, working together. There is a positive and negative synergy. The essence of positive synergy can be found in the phrase, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Conversely, negative synergy occurs when the whole is less than the sum of the part. So if we have got a positive synergy in a team, then 1 plus 1 plus 1 will equal to 10. But negative synergy could be detrimental, and all the team members fight with each other and would not get to the expected outcome. The whole is less than the sum of the part. In terms of team formation, there is a 5-stage team developing model. Just as infants develop in certain ways during their first months of life, many experts argue that groups develop in a predictable manner. One of the most popular models is this 5-stage model, through which groups develop into effective teams. At the initial stage, it is forming, which is an orientation to the project. Stage 2, storming, include emotional response to the demand of the project. The third stage is norming. This is one in which close relationships develop and the group demonstrates cohesiveness, feeling of comradeship, and shared responsibility for the project are created and heightened. The norming phase is complete when the group structure solidifies and the group establishes a common set of expectations about how members should work together. Stage 4, performing. The team operates under this structure at this point is fully functional and being accepted. Group energy has moved from getting to know each other to work on how the group can collaborate and bond with each other to accomplishing the project goal. Phase 5 is adjoining. For conventional work groups, performing is the last stage of their development. However, for project teams, there is a completion phase. During this stage, the team prepares for its own disbandment. High performance is no longer a top priority. Instead, attention is devoted to wrapping up the project. So overall, the model provides a framework for the group to understand its own development. Project managers have found it very useful to understand the developmental stages of team formation. They can share the model with their teams and help members to accept the tensions of the storming phase, and it directs their focus to moving forward to the more productive phases. Another implication is that it stresses the importance of the norming phase, which contributes significantly to the level of productivity experienced during the performing phase. Project managers as well shall see have to take an active role in shaping group norms that will contribute to ultimate project success. For an alternative model for group development, there is one called punctuated equilibrium research highlight. Conditions favoring development of a high-performance project team. Experience and research indicate that high-performance project teams are much more likely to develop under the following conditions. For example, there are 10 or fewer members per team. Members volunteer to serve on the project team. Members serve on the project from beginning to end. Members are in speaking distance of each other. These are the favoring development of a high-performance team. So in many organizations, functional managers or central manpower officers assign project members with little input from the project manager. To optimize resource utilization, team member involvement may be part-time and/or participants may move in and out of the project team on an as-needed basis. In the case of ad hoc task force, no member of the team work full-time on the project. In many corporations, an NIH, not invented here, culture exists that discourage collaboration across functional boundaries. So it's important for project managers and team members to recognize the situational constraints they are operating under and do the best they can. It would be naive to believe that every project team has the same potential to evolve into a high-performance team. Under less than ideal conditions, it may be a struggle just to meet project objectives. Ingenuity, discipline, and sensitivity to team dynamics are essential to maximizing the performance of a project team. So building high-performance project team. The first steps would be recruit team members. Project managers play a key role in developing high-performance project teams. Their duties could include recruiting, conducting meetings, establishing team identity, creating a common sense of purpose or shared vision within the team, managing a reward system that encourages team spirit and teamwork, orchestrate decision-making, resolve conflicts, as well as rejuvenate team when energy wanes. Project managers take advantage of situational factors that naturally contribute to team development while improvising around those factors that inhibit team development. In doing so, they exhibit highly interactive management style that exemplifies teamwork and, as discussed in the previous chapter, manage the interface between the team and the rest of the organization. In many organizations, such as matrix structures, the functional manager controls who is assigned to the project. The project manager will have to work with the functional manager to obtain necessary personnel. Even in a project team where members are selected and assigned full-time to the project manager has to be sensitive to the needs of others. There is no better way to create enemies within an organization than to be perceived as unnecessarily robbing other departments of essential personnel. Experienced project managers stress the importance of asking for volunteers. However, this desirable step oftentimes is outside the manager's control. Still, the value of having team members volunteer for the project as an offset to being assigned cannot be overlooked. Agreeing to work on a project is the first step toward building personal commitment to the project. Such commitment will be essential to maintain motivation when the project hits hard time and actual effort is required. Project team meetings are essential communication tools. Research on team development confirms what we have heard from project managers. The first project kickoff meeting is critical to the early functioning of the project team. There are typically three objectives project managers try to achieve during the first meeting of the project team. The first is to provide an overview of the project, include the scope and objectives, the general schedules, method and procedures. The second is to begin to address some of the interpersonal concerns captured in the team development. Who are the other team members? How will they fit into the team? Will I be able to work with these people? and so on. The third and most important objective is to begin to model how the team is going to work together to complete the project. The project manager must recognize that first impressions are important. His or her behavior will be carefully monitored and interpreted by team members. This meeting should serve as an exemplary role model for subsequent meetings and reflects the leader's style. Meetings are often considered an anathema to productivity, but this does not have to be the case. The most common complaint is that meetings last too long, waste a lot of time and resources, or repetitive. Establishing an agenda and adjournment time helps participants budget discussion time and provide a basis for expediting the proceedings. Record keeping can be unwelcome, tedious task. Utilizing laptop computer to record the meeting and information in real time can facilitate the communication process. Careful preparation and consistent application of these guidelines can make meetings a vital part and very resourceful part of the project. Establishing a team identity is crucial for creating a cohesive and motivated group that work effectively toward common goals. One of the challenges project managers often face in building a team is the lack of a full-time involvement of team members. Specialists work on different phases of the project and spend the majority of their time and energy elsewhere. So they are often members of multiple teams, each competing for their time and allegiance. Project expert David Frame points out that for many of these specialists, a specific project is an abstraction. As a consequence, their level of motivation suffers. Project managers need to try to make the project team as tangible as possible to the participants by developing a unique team identity to which participants can become emotionally attached. Team meeting, co-location of team members, team names, and team ritual are common vehicle for doing so. Here are some steps that you can consider to establish a strong team identity, including effective use of team meetings, locations, seeking feedbacks, and encouraging personal development, team rituals, and so on. So team ritual, for example, just as corporate rituals help establish the unique identity of a firm. Similar symbolic action at the project level can contribute to a unique team subculture. For example, on one project, members were given ties with strips that corresponded to the number of milestones on the project. After reaching each milestone, members would gather and cut the next strip off their ties to signify progress. Such a ritual helps set project work apart from mainstream operations and reinforce a special status. Another way to manage a team identity is creating a shared vision. Unlike project scope statements, which include specific cost, completion dates, and performance requirements, a vision involves the less tangible aspects of project performance. It refers to an image a project team holds in common about how the project will look upon completion, how they will work together, and how customers will accept the project. At its simplest level, a shared vision is the answer to the question, what do we want to create? Not everyone will have the same vision, but the images should be similar. Visions come in a variety of shapes and forms. They can be captured in a slogan or symbol, or can be written as formal vision statement. Vision also provide focus and help communication less tangible priorities, helping members make appropriate judgment calls. Shared vision for a project fosters commitment to the long term and discourages expedient responses that collectively dilute the quality of the project. There appear to be 4 essential qualities of an effective vision, as shown in this figure. The first one is essential qualities must be able to be communicated. A vision is worthless if it only resides in someone's heart. Second one, visions have to be challenging but also realistic. For example, a task force directed at overhauling the curriculum at the College of Business School at a state university is likely to roll its eyes if the dean announces that their vision is to compete against Harvard University, Harvard Business School. Conversely, developing the best undergraduate business program in that state may be a realistic vision for the task force. Thirdly, the project manager has to believe in the vision. Passion for the vision is an essential element of an effective vision. Finally, it should be a source of inspiration to others. Managing reward system for the team members can help build group identity. So project managers are responsible for managing the reward system that encourages team performance and the actual effort. One advantage they have is that very often project work is inherently satisfying, whether it is manifested in an inspiration or simple sense of accomplishment. Projects provide participants with a chance of scenery, a chance to learn new skills, and an opportunity to break out of their departmental cocoon. Another inherent reward is what was referred to in The Soul of a New Machine as pinball. Project success typically gives team members an option to play another exciting game. Still, many projects are underappreciated, boring, interfere with other more significant priorities, and are considered an actual burden. In some of these cases, the biggest reward is finishing the project so that team members can go back to what they really enjoy doing and what will yield the biggest personal payoffs. Unfortunately, when this attitude is the primary incentive, project quality is likely to suffer. In this circumstance, external rewards play a more important role in motivating team performance. Most project managers will talk to advocate the use of group rewards. Because most projects work in a collaborative manner, it only makes sense that the reward system would encourage group work. Recognizing individual members' achievement regardless of their accomplishment can distract from team unit. Project work is highly interdependent, so it can become problematic to distinguish who truly deserves additional credit. Cash bonus and incentives need to be linked to the project priority. It makes no sense to reward a team for completing their work early if controlling cost was the number one priority. So while project managers tend to focus on group rewards, there are times when they need to reward individual performance as well. This is done not only to compensate extraordinary effort, but also to signal to the others what exemplary behavior is. More specifically, among the rewards they use to motivate and recognize individual contributions can include letter of commendation, public recognition for outstanding work, job assessment, and increased personal flexibility. Orchestrating the decision-making process. Most decisions on a project do not require a formal meeting to discuss alternatives and determine solutions. Instead, decisions are made in real time as part of the daily interaction patterns between project managers, stakeholders, and team members. For example, as a result of a routine "how is it going" question, a project manager discovers that a mechanical engineer is stuck trying to meet the performance criteria for a prototype he is responsible for building. The project manager and the engineer go down the hallway to talk to the designers, explain the problem, and ask what, if anything, can be done. The designer distinguishes which criteria are essential and which ones they think can be compromised. The project manager then checks with the marketing group to make sure the modifications are acceptable. They agree with all but two of the modifications. The project manager goes back to the mechanical engineer and asks to asks whether the proposed changes will help solve the problems. The engineer agrees before authorizing the changes. He calls the project sponsor, reviews the events, and gets the sponsor to sign off on the changes. This is an example of how, by practicing MBWA management by wandering around, project managers consult team members, solicit ideas, determine optimal solutions, and create a sense of involvement that builds trust and commitment to the decisions. Managing project team conflicts. Disagreements and conflicts naturally emerge within a project team. During the life cycle of the project, participants will disagree over many different things, over priorities, resource allocations, the quality of a specific work, human resource related issues, solutions to discovered problems, and so forth. Some conflicts support the goal of the group and improve project performance. For example, two members may be locked in a debate over a design trade-off decision involving different features of a product. They argue that their preferred feature is what the primary customer truly wants. This disagreement may force them to talk to or get more information from the customer, with the result that they realize neither feature is highly valued, but instead of the customer wants something else. On the other hand, conflicts can also hinder group performance. Initial disagreements can escalate into heated arguments, with both parties storming out of the room and refusing to work together. So it's very important to encourage functional conflict and manage dysfunctional conflict. Functional conflict are those things that can be very encouraging to solve problems within the group, and also bring people with different views together. This disagreement is constructive and will be beneficial to the team's goal and performance. In this kind of conflict, the disagreement is focused on substantive issues or ideas rather than personal attacks or hidden agendas. Functional conflict can lead to positive outcomes, such as increased creativity, greater decision-making improvements, and enhanced team cohesion. It encourages divergent thinking, challenges the status quo, and stimulates innovation within the team. Examples, for example, relates to healthy competition among team members, exploration of alternative viewpoints and perspective to generate innovative solutions. Dysfunctional conflict, on the other hand, refers to a type of disagreement or discord within a team that is detrimental to the team's effectiveness and performance. In dysfunctional conflict, the disagreement is often fueled by personal animosity, hidden agendas, or unresolved interpersonal issues, rather than a genuine focus on achieving common goals. Dysfunctional conflict can lead to negative outcomes, such as decreased morale, impaired communication, and reduced productivities. It undermines trust and collaboration within the team and can escalate into destructive behaviors if left unaddressed. Examples include personal attacks, insults, or hostile behavior toward team members, power struggles, and turf wars over resources, authority, and recognition, withhold information, or sabotaging others' efforts out of self-interest or spite. Effective teams strive to minimize dysfunctional conflict while harnessing the benefits of functional conflicts. They establish norms for respectful communication and promote transparency and trust, and proactively address conflict through open dialogue, mediation, or conflict resolution techniques. By fostering an environment where diverse perspectives are valued and disagreements are managed constructively, teams can leverage conflict as a catalyst for growth and innovation. Conflict intensity over the product lifecycle of a project. So conflict intensity can vary over the project lifecycle as different phases present unique challenges and opportunities. So normally at the initial phase, conflict intensity generally is quite low. At this time, the most significant sources of conflicts are priority, administrative procedures, schedules, and workforce. Disputes occur over the relative importance of the project compared with other activities, which project management structure to use, especially how much control the project manager should have, the personnel to be assigned, and the scheduling of the project into existing workloads. During the planning phase, the chief source of conflict remains priority and followed by schedule, procedure, and technical requirements. During the execution phase, conflict can be intensified and can be quite high as well. The reason for this conflict tends to peak during this period of time when team members actively work together to implement the project plan. Pressure to meet deadlines, unforeseen challenges, and dependency between tasks can amplify tensions and disagreements within the team. Conflicts may arise around resource constraints, quality constraints, standards, and change to project requirements. Milestones became more difficult to meet because of accumulating schedule slippages. This leads to tension within the team as delays prevent others from starting or completing their tasks. Managing the trade-off between times, cost, and performance becomes paramount. Project managers must decide between letting the schedule slip, investing additional funds to get back on track, or scaling back the scope of the project in order to save time. Technical problems involve finding solutions to unexpected problems and integrating the contributions of different people. The strain of the project may be expressed in interpersonal conflicts as well as pressures to use resources more effectively. During the delivery phase, schedules continue as the biggest source of conflict, as the schedule slippage make it more difficult to meet target completion dates. At closing stage, conflict intensity can be moderate to low. Conflict intensity typically decreases during the closing phase as the project nears completion and focus shifts toward finalizing deliverables, conducting project reviews, and transitioning responsibility. Any remaining conflicts may relate to project closure activities, such as finalizing contracts, resolving outstanding issues, or documenting lessons learned. So overall conflict intensity over the project life cycle is influenced by the factors such as project complexity, stakeholder dynamics, team composition, and the effectiveness of project management practices. Successful project teams recognize the inevitability of conflicts and proactively manage it through open communication, collaboration, and conflict resolution strategies tailored to each project phase. Rejuvenating the project team. Over the course of a long project, a team sometimes drifts off course and loses momentum. The project managers need to swing into action to realign the team with the project objectives and step on the pedal. There are both formal and informal ways of doing this. Informally, the project manager can institute new rituals like the toy road chase to re-engineer a team. On one project that was experiencing rough going, the project manager stopped work and took the team bowling to relieve frustration. On another project, a manager showed her team the movie The Shawshank Redemption to rekindle hopes and commitment to success. Another option is to have the project sponsor give a pep talk to the troops. In other cases, a friendly challenge can reinvigorate a team. For example, one project sponsor offered to cook a 5-course meal if the project go back on track and hit the next milestone. Sometimes more formal action needs to be taken. The project manager may recognize the need for the team building sessions devoted to improving the work process of the team. This meeting is particularly appropriate if she senses that the team is approaching a transition point in its development. The goal of such a session is to improve the project team's effectiveness through better management of project demands and group processes. Oftentimes, consultants use a wide variety of team building techniques to elevate team performance. There is a list here. First, the information is summarized in different terms of schema. When everyone has understood the theme, the group ranks them in terms of both their importance and the extent the team has ownership over them. This last dimension is critical. Ownership refers to whether the team has direct influence over the issue. For example, a team probably has little influence over delivery of contracted supplies, but team members do control how quickly they inform each other of sudden change in plan. Managing virtual project teams. Building a high-performance project team among a mixture of part-time and full-time members is a challenging task. Consider how much more challenging it is to build a team when members cannot engage in face-to-face interaction. Such would be the case for a virtual project team, in which the team members are geographically situated so that they may seldom, if ever, meet face-to-face as a team. For example, HP integrated the circuit business headquarters, and a portion of the R&D facilities are located in Palo Alto, California. The two wafer fabrication operations are located in Corvallis, Oregon, and Fort Collins, Colorado, and the packaging assembly process is primarily in Singapore and Korea. It is not uncommon for professionals at each of these locations to be involved in the same project, when team members are spread across different time zones and continents. The opportunity for direct communication is severely limited. Electronic communication such as the internet, email, and teleconferencing takes on much more importance in virtual projects because this is the primary means of communication. How can a project manager facilitate the development of trust within a virtual team? First, it is impossible to hold a face-to-face meeting. In the beginning, managers need to orchestrate the exchange of social information. Also, secondly, they need to set clear roles for each team members. Ideally, specific tasks should be assigned to each member so that they can make an immediate contribution to the project. Trust in virtual projects grows through team member reliability, consistency, and responsiveness. And finally, the project manager must consistently display enthusiasm and an action orientation in all message. This spirit will hopefully separate to others team members. Example in 3M guideline on distributed project. So here, even with the best communication system, managers have to overcome the problem of that time zone differences, cultural nuances, and finding convenient time for people to conference. This slide shows 3M passage outlines recommendation for when to use various communication methods, such as email or electronic bulletin boards, video conference, and also conference calls, or as well as take a flight. Project team pitfalls. Project team can encounter various pitfalls that hinder their effectiveness and success. Some common project team pitfalls include high-performance project team produce dramatic results, group thinking, Janice first identified group thinking as a factor that influenced the misguided 1961 Bevel Pig invasion of Cuba. His term refers to the tendency of members in highly cohesive groups to lose their critical evaluation capacities. This malady appears when pressures for conformity combined with an illusion of invincibility to suspend critical decisions. As a result, decisions are made quite quickly with little consideration of alternatives. Often the practical leads to fiascos that, after the fact, appear totally improbable. Some of the symptoms of group thinking include the illusion of invulnerability, whitewash of critical thinking, negative stereotypes of outsiders, direct pressure. Bureaucratic bypass syndrome project teams are often licensed to encounter, and they get things done without having to go through normal protocols of the parent organizations. By passing bureaucratic channels is appealing and invigorating. However, if bypassing becomes a way of life, it results in the rejection of bureaucratic policies. Team spirit becomes team infatuation. High-performance project teams can be a tremendous source of personal dissatisfaction. The excitement, chaos, and joy generated by working on a challenging team project can be an invigorating experience for the individuals. Levitt and Blumen even go so far as to say that team members behave like people in love. They become infiltrated with the challenge of the project and the talent around them. Going native is a phrase first used by the British Foreign Service during colonial time to describe agents who assume the customer values and the prerogatives of their foreign country assignment. They did so to the point that they were no longer representing the best interest of the British government, but rather those of the natives. This same phenomenon can occur within project teams working abroad in those who become closely identified with their customers. In essence, the customer's interests take precedence over the parent organization's interests. This change in viewpoint scope creep and often defiance of corporate policy and interest. So in summary, today we looked at project team effectiveness. Project managers often work under less than ideal conditions to develop a cohesive team committed to working together and completing the project to the best of their ability. They have to recruit personnel from other development departments and manage the temporary involvement of team members. They have to bring strangers together and quickly establish a set of operational procedure that unite their efforts and contribution. So they need to use group incentive to encourage teamwork while recognizing when it is appropriate to single out the individual for special recognition. So project managers have to encourage functional conflict that contribute to superior solutions while being on guard against dysfunctional conflict that can break a team apart. So these are what we have studied in this lesson. There's no easy way to lead by example. It requires personal conviction, discipline, sensitivity to team dynamics, and a constant awareness of how personal actions are perceived by others. We have a quiz link as well, so if this is used in a lesson, then students can click through to work on some of the quizzes based on the content of this study. This is a summary of the key terms, including such as brainstorming, dysfunctional conflict, and functional conflict, group thinking, nominal group technique, positive synergy, project kickoff, project vision, team building, team rituals, virtual project teams. So there is also a list of review questions that can be used for group discussion in class or homework. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Looking forward to seeing you next time.
I'll be your platinum, I'll be your silver, I'll be your gold, as long as you